It was an ordinary morning in Ouagadougou, with the sun casting its early rays over the city, bathing the streets in a warm, golden glow. The busy market district was beginning to fill with the sounds of everyday life. Street vendors set up their stalls, children laughed and played, and the buzz of conversations blended with the hum of car engines. But inside the high-security prison on the outskirts of the capital, the atmosphere was anything but ordinary. In the heart of the prison's labyrinthine corridors, a lone prisoner sat in a cold, dimly lit cell. His name was Idriss, a man whose past had been shrouded in mystery. Accused of treason and involvement in a series of conspiracies, he had been locked away for over 2 years, with no clear path to redemption. His trial had been swift, his sentence harsh. The case had been closed to the public, and his name had become synonymous with betrayal in the eyes of many. Idriss had always been a man of few words, but inside his small, damp cell, he had more time to think than he ever wanted. The walls, covered in peeling paint, seemed to close in on him, and his only companions were the echoes of his own thoughts and the occasional voice from the guards as they patrolled the corridors. Despite his silence, his mind was far from quiet. He was obsessed with one thing: President Ibrahim Traoré. For the people of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré was more than just a leader. He was a symbol of hope, a man who had risen from the ranks of the military to become the voice of the people. Under his leadership, the country had seen major reforms, and the people, long deprived of justice and opportunity, were beginning to trust the government once more. But to Idriss, Ibrahim was something more. He had seen the president's rise with a mixture of envy and admiration. He had once been part of the establishment, trusted, influential. But now, locked away in a cell, he was nothing. His fall from grace had been swift, and it had been the president's justice that had sealed his fate. Yet, in the solitude of his cell, Idriss came to a decision. He could not remain silent forever. He had information that, if revealed, could shake the very foundations of the country. But there was only one person who could be trusted with the truth: Ibrahim Traoré. One evening, after days of reflection, Idriss made his decision. He requested a meeting with the president. The prison officials were taken aback. A prisoner, especially one like Idriss, asking to speak to the president himself? It was unheard of. But after much deliberation, a small delegation of officials under strict orders began preparations. They reached out to Ibrahim, who, unlike many other leaders, was not dismissive of such unusual requests. He believed that every voice deserved to be heard, even from the most unexpected sources. Ibrahim, still young in his presidency but already known for his hands-on leadership style, agreed to the meeting. The day of the meeting arrived. In the cool, stark room inside the prison, the president sat, waiting. His bodyguards, as usual, were discreet, standing outside the door. Ibrahim wasn't a man who liked to be surrounded by too much security. He wanted to hear Idriss's words without the weight of distractions. His mind, usually focused on the nation's challenges, was now attuned to the mysterious request from the former conspirator. The heavy door creaked open, and Idriss was escorted into the room. His appearance had changed since his time as a free man. The once proud man, dressed in tailored suits, now wore the simple prison uniform of faded blue. His face had lost its youthful vigor, replaced by a hardened, weary expression. But his eyes, they still held the same fire, the same intensity. "Thank you for agreeing to speak with me," Idriss said quietly, his voice carrying a weight that hinted at something deeper. There was no fear in his words, only resolve. Ibrahim nodded, offering a small, genuine smile. You've made quite a request, Idriss. Most people wouldn't be so bold. Idriss didn't respond immediately. Instead, he met the president's gaze with steady eyes, almost as if gauging Ibrahim's sincerity. I've spent the last 2 years in this prison, thinking, reflecting on my past, Idriss began, and I've realized something. There are things that I must say, things that could change everything. Ibrahim leaned forward, intrigued but cautious. What are you talking about? Idriss's voice lowered, as if he was about to reveal a secret that could unravel everything. There's a conspiracy within your own government, he said, his words hanging in the air, one that goes deeper than you could ever imagine. Ibrahim's heart skipped a beat. He had been aware of corruption, of the usual political games, but a conspiracy within his own ranks? This was something new. Go on, Ibrahim urged, his voice steady, but his mind racing. Idriss swallowed hard, taking a deep breath. It's not just about the military or the politicians. There are those who have been manipulating the people, orchestrating events from behind the scenes. I've seen it, President Traoré. I was part of it. But I didn't know until it was too late. They used me, and I failed to see it. Ibrahim's brow furrowed. Who are they? Idriss hesitated, his hands trembling slightly as he clasped them together in front of him. I can't tell you their names, not yet. But they are powerful, and they have connections everywhere, even within the presidential circle. A chill ran through the room. Ibrahim's mind was reeling, but he remained calm. He had faced many challenges since taking office, but this was different. If Idriss was telling the truth, it meant that his own inner circle was compromised. This could be the beginning of something far darker than he had imagined. I need proof, Ibrahim said, his voice firm. Idriss nodded. I understand. But first, you must know this. I was never truly a traitor. I was being controlled. I was told to keep quiet, to allow things to happen. They promised me power, a future, but it was all a lie. And now I see the truth. They are planning something that will destabilize your government. They want to create chaos. The president sat back in his chair, absorbing the weight of Idriss's words. He had always known that corruption was a threat. But this was different. This was not just a few bad actors. This was a web of deceit that could unravel the fabric of the entire nation. Idriss continued, his voice growing more urgent. You have people in your inner circle who are loyal to the wrong causes. They want to see you fail. They want to manipulate the people. And they have their eyes set on something far more dangerous than you realize. Ibrahim's mind raced as he processed the information. He had trusted people in his administration, but now doubts began to creep in. How many of them were truly loyal? How many had their own agendas? I'll need you to help me gather evidence, Ibrahim said, standing up. Your time here is not over, but your words could save this nation. You can make things right. Idriss's face softened, his eyes betraying a mix of regret and determination. I don't expect redemption, but if this can stop what's coming, if it can save the people, then I'll do whatever it takes. The room fell into a heavy silence. Ibrahim stared at Idriss, not with disdain, but with a renewed sense of purpose. This meeting, this unexpected revelation, had changed everything. The future of the nation hung in the balance, and the man who had once been a symbol of betrayal could now become a key figure in uncovering a far-reaching conspiracy. But the road ahead would not be easy. Ibrahim knew that exposing this conspiracy could shake the foundations of the very government he had worked so hard to build. It would be a battle against shadows, a battle against those who operated from the darkness. Yet, Ibrahim Traoré was not one to shy away from a challenge. He had faced adversity before, and now, with the help of Idriss, he would face it again, this time from within his own ranks. As Idriss was escorted back to his cell, the weight of the conversation hung in the air. Ibrahim stood alone for a moment, his thoughts racing. The truth had been revealed, but the fight was just beginning. What Idriss had shared could change everything, if the president could find a way to expose the conspiracy before it was too late. But Ibrahim Traoré was resolute. He would not let the nation fall into chaos. No matter what it took, he would uncover the truth. For the people of Burkina Faso,